Hey, what's going on, everybody? So the 12th ranked Miami Hurricanes won 86-80 over FIU to improve to 3-0. Kind of a wild basketball game here. Miami goes up 28-11, up 17 points early in the first half, and certainly a big spread against a team like FIU was 0-2 coming into it, and had really struggled in their first two games. So you're thinking Miami at that point at home, the way they've played, the team that they have, you thought they'd run away with it, but that's not what happened in this one. FIU responds 28-3 run over the first and second halves. Miami goes down 12 points, but they respond, and I think this is going to be big. Miami responds with a 19-0 run. A lot of guys stepped up during that run, making shots. Matthew Cleveland was huge tonight, 23 points. I'm going to get into stuff with Matthew that I want to share with you guys. And then also Bensley Joseph, another good performance in this one, 18 points, and he really sparked that run as well. You know, I asked Coach Larrañaga about the offensive rebounds because I think it's something that's starting to add up with this team. You know, yet last year, you know, they had a stretch that those last, you know, that second half of the year, they'd really only averaged about 8 offensive rebounds given up. And this year it's been over 10 each game. And tonight it was 16 offensive rebounds allowed that led to 24 second chance points by FIU, which I felt was huge. And then conversely, Miami had 2 points, 2 second chance points. And when Coach was talking about, you know, about the discrepancy, and he basically just said, or he did say, you know, they were good, we were bad. But he noted the only putback that they had, because it was a big one. Again, Matthew Cleveland came up big with a putback. They really needed it during that time as FIU kind of kept staying with it down the stretch. And Woogle Poplar in the last couple minutes, he's just had a great start, a great 3 games, expecting a great season out of him. And he came up with a big shot there in the final 2 minutes. And really, I felt like that shot really kind of kept Miami out in front, even with FIU still charging ahead. So the second chance points, offensive rebounds, certainly glaring, not good for Miami there. And you don't want those numbers to continue because against better opponents, it could really hurt you in those situations. Norchad Omier, you know, he was dealing with foul trouble, and he's obviously their best rebounder. It's one of the best rebounders in the country, and I felt like that certainly impacted the team and how they allowed offensive rebounds. And then another thing, and AJ Casey did fill in, and he was a plus 13, you know, so that was good, but not a lot of production, not very much production at all from the bench. They only had 4 points compared to FIU had 34 points. So certainly you don't want that number to continue each and every game. So we'll see get more from the bench moving forward from this team watching them, and because I think that could be a factor. You know, and with Matt, and I will get into some more positives too with Miami tonight because I don't want it to be all negative. They do win this game. But one of the things I like doing is I like getting to the arena as soon as I can, as soon as I can get over here and kind of just watch players as they get on the court for their pregame routine. And this is before the whole team comes out for the layup lines or the whole team goes out for stretching or shooting as a group. And Matt Cleveland was the first player on the court that I saw hours before the game started, out there going through his routine. So what he was doing is really working on his 3-point shot. And I noted before the game, he was 1 for 5 coming into this game from 3. And he went through it, you know, and really a full sequence, a full shooting sequence where he's, you know, taking multiple shots at each of the 5 3-point shots and going around, kind of kept going around. After he finished a group, then he would do it again. And just had different sequences that he was doing and shooting threes. So he was a guy putting in a lot of early work. And then tonight it paid off. He goes 3 for 3 from 3, and he was 8 of 10 overall shooting. And I've made a lot of mention of this with his efficiency at Florida State. There were a lot of numbers that weren't favorable for Matt with his shooting efficiency numbers, and I was curious to see how that was going to work at Miami. And then Jim Larrañaga also mentioned it during the preseason. Felt like they've talked to Matt quite a bit about this. And, you know, I asked Matt after the game about it, because of what was shared to us with Jim and then just what Matt thought about this. And Matt said, yeah, it's been a point of emphasis, and he's really been working with the assistant coaches in particular, watching a lot of film of maybe some ways for him to get more efficient and kind of find better places on the court to make his shots. And because he is a guy obviously that can make shots and can really help a team offensively. It's just he wants to make sure he takes the right shots, and obviously in a different system, different types of teammates, certainly can play into this, so a new situation for him. And then I also asked him too, I know it's only 3 games, but how he's kind of fitting into a rhythm, you know, learning his teammates even more. basically just kind of finding out where he can get his shots from, because I feel like for a team, that is always a big thing. It's not necessarily about how many points everybody scores, but where can you be most efficient? How do you fit with the team, with the other pieces on a team? Because everybody's game is different offensively. And I think Matt is doing a good job, and tonight was certainly a good sign moving forward, because you want to have games like this, really gain confidence, because players can revert back to games like this as the season goes on. So certainly it was great getting here early, watching guys kind of go through that pregame shooting routine and seeing Matt. And then after the game, I saw more of it. And it's going to be something I watch for all the time when I'm here. Because if you followed the instant reaction video from last game against UCF, I noted Christian Watson was a guy about 20 minutes going through a shooting workout after the game was over. Woogle Poplar was also putting up some shots as well. And then tonight, it was great again. I almost just you kind of peek back on the court after interviews are done. I do a little bit of work. I come back on the court either to do the video, just to kind of see at this point. And Norchad Omier was out there and putting up some shots, and I thought that was great. Not a great game for him offensively tonight. Got in foul trouble, but he's putting up shots, and I'm showing you guys the clips right here so you can see a little bit of the things he's doing and putting up shots. And one thing I noticed too with him, this isn't one of these things where I'm watching the guys and they're just kind of shooting around. I mean, they have some good pace to them, and I think that's good too. You want to kind of get something out of this little workout that they're doing after the game that we're seeing so much of lately. So I think this is certainly a great sign for Miami moving forward. This is a team that really wants to be great. Again, that's the way I look at it. They don't have to. Not every player comes out here. They've just had a hard game, playing a lot of minutes, but Norchad was out there for, I would say, maybe 15 to 30 minutes. I could hear the music. They had that going on, and it kind of stopped, but I'm guessing maybe 15 to 30 minutes at least that he was out here, which was great. And then another guy that was out here, a guy that I think has gotten off to a really slow start to begin this year through 3 games, and that was Keyshawn George. So another bench guy, doesn't play a lot, so it was good seeing him out here. Again, he was really working on some 3-point shooting, as you can see right now as I'm talking about the game, just so you guys can see a glimpse of what they're doing while still respecting their privacy of wanting to go through a private workout on their own. But I just want to show you a quick clips of these guys just really going through it. It's just great to see. So again, Norchad and Keyshawn were the 2 guys I saw tonight, and then seeing Wooga out there as well as Christian Watson last game. So we'll see. It doesn't have to be for everybody. It doesn't have to mean a whole lot if they're guys that aren't out here because they played games. I can't reiterate that enough. And a lot of guys also like to use the time after the game, certainly to rest up, and Miami does have a game. So they're going to leave Wednesday morning for the Bahamas to play on Friday. They'll get to the Bahamas. I don't have the full schedule right now, their practice schedule, but I would assume they'll try to get some work in maybe Wednesday night, depending on when they arrive in the Bahamas. And then also they'll do some work there Thursday. They're going to play Georgia. Again, I'll have more information on Georgia in that first game, as well as K-State and Providence. And I'm going to post that on the website, as I like to watch these teams play games before they play Miami to give you guys a sense on what they're going up against with the Hurricanes. So I'm going to have that on the website. I'm not going to get into that right now with these teams, but just want to talk more about this game first. So just wrapping this up, my overall final takeaways with this game. Yes, it was disappointing that Miami didn't control this game from start to finish like they should have, like they were expected to do against a team that had really struggled. But FIU came out, played hard. I think there's certainly things that Miami needs to get corrected moving forward, or they're going to go to the Bahamas and lose both games, and that's certainly not what you want to do. But you have to remember, whether it's tonight, whether it's the Bahamas, Kentucky, to close out this month, the college basketball season is a long season. And teams kind of learn their identity as the year goes on. And a lot of positives for Miami shooting the ball, 58% from the field. The turnovers were a bit high, but made a bunch of threes. They made their free throws. So this is a very efficient offensive team. Again, 86 points. Certainly to be impressed by that. And then just have to work on their defensive things, with the rebounds and kind of, taking what they've learned in 3 games and really apply that moving forward. This is a team that has a lot of strengths, and I want to make sure we focus on that with this offensive firepower, as we've mentioned last game. the diversity, and they're able to score in different ways. They're obviously a team that can get out and run. They have a lot of guys that can make shots at an efficient level. We talked about three-point shooting. I think three-point shooting should still stay efficient. You're seeing guys that can really fill it up, particularly with Wugel Poplar and Nigel Pack. And now we're seeing Bensley Joseph on the perimeter. Really provided more scoring than I expected. And I know in his 2-spot starts a year ago, he did provide some scoring, but he's scoring at a great rate right now. They just kind of need to continue to get everybody going. But again, they got to get the bench going. I thought tonight was going to be that chance for those guys to do it, but we'll see how it goes moving forward. They're going to rely on their starters, no question about it, but certainly still like to get something from their bench. So let me know what you thought of this game. Thanks again for everybody for watching. Hopefully have a good week and take care.